Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, July 3rd. My name is Alan, and I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. The purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality by working the AA program of recovery, and I try to do that by being as honest, vulnerable, and accountable as I can be, which is why these videos are made. Makes me be accountable for my own recovery. I'm no expert in AA or spirituality or recovery. I'm just trying to live life on life's terms and do it sober. The recipe we follow here is read the daily reading, the AA Daily Reflection book. There's a link in the description if you'd like to follow along. And I'll just share my take on what I got from the reading and sometimes some other topic. All right, cool. All right, so today the topic is going to be experience, the best teacher, and part one of the idea of failure. All right, let's get busy. July 3rd. Experience, the best teacher. Being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, it is not possible or not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 87. Some say that experience is the best teacher, but I believe that experience is the only teacher. I have been able to learn of God's love for me not only by the experience of my dependence on that love, only by the experience of my dependence on that love. At first, I could not be sure of His direction in my life. But now I see that if I am to be bold enough to ask for His guidance, I must act as if He has provided it. I frequently ask God to help me remember that He has a path for me. All right. Experience. All right. So, obviously we're new on this journey and this whole idea of a higher power, or at least applying it, leaning into it, not just kind of having it as a peripheral idea. We're not going to be inspired all times. It's funny, I almost feel less inspired than when I'm smoking because it's just the way that I'm feeling, but it's okay. But those moments of clarity are better, much better, that's for sure. It's progress, not perfection. And early on, as a lot of people talk about the pink cloud, it's short-lived, and then the work comes. But the benefits to the work are definitely much better than the high off the drugs, right? At least for me it is. All right, then he talks about experience being the best teacher, and then he talks about being the only teacher. I'm not sure if I completely believe that, but I'll take it for its word. They usually use it, the literature's right. I just wonder, how much do I listen when others share their wisdom? I mean, if I actually listen and apply it, then maybe experience isn't the only teacher. How many times have I said, well, yeah, but, or it doesn't apply to me, or that's not going to happen to me? Then I kind of looked into the idea of, what is a teacher? It's someone or something that gives someone knowledge or trains us to instruct. So it's supposed to give me some information to maybe alter or maybe think about what I'm doing with my life. Next part talked about being able to learn of God's love only by the experience of my dependence on that love. In this area, I do believe that experience is the only teacher, because people can tell me about their relationship with God, but it doesn't mean anything because I don't feel it here. But yeah, that's, if I want to get more of that, I got to lean more into it, not just kind of dabble in it. And if I don't feel it, well, then it's not real. Half measures availed us nothing. If I'm going to ask for it, then live it, lean into it, and follow through, and believe that whatever is in front of me is supposed to be in front of me, and then I'm supposed to do the next right thing. That's good guidance for me today. Yeah, it really is. All right, so then I just want to, failure is a topic I've had on my list for a while, so I just kind of want to touch on that a little bit, and the idea of failure. And I know definitely for me lately, I don't view failure. We'll get to that point later. Let's just talk about the idea of what that is. So failure, simply the lack of success or the inability to meet an expectation. Nope, just don't get it done, right? I don't know if anyone watched the NBA Finals or NBA playoffs, but there's a player from Milwaukee who talked about when they lost in the first round, it wasn't a failure. Yeah, it was a failure, but we don't have to necessarily look at that as a huge negative thing. So why is failure important? Well, it teaches about love and relationships and people. It tests how bad we want something. It makes the goal much sweeter when we achieve it because it wasn't easy. I don't know about you, but things that come easy just don't seem to have as much value to me. It exposes our weaknesses. Okay? It teaches us perseverance to be stronger, and it teaches us humility that we're not just going to do everything easy. to work for it, and we're not as great as we think we are. So why do we perceive failure as negative? Because it threatens our ego. It makes us feel bad about ourselves, right? And really, I think the whole idea of failure is a feeling we get from it, how we perceive it. Makes us feel shameful and inadequate. I don't really believe that it's inherently good or bad. It just is. And it's more information for us to evaluate. I do well when I can keep that mindset. Okay? It can leave us feeling a sense of hopelessness, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, makes us compare ourselves to others. Really, the chatter can really go off the rails, and we can have really unrealistic expectations. I don't know if anyone's ever heard this. Carl Jung or Jordan Peterson talks about how the fool needs to come before the savior or the master. So, what does that mean? I think the idea is anytime we do something for the first time, we don't know what we're doing. That's the idea where we're going into uncharted waters. It's like we live to a point of our world's comfortable and known, and then we take a step out. Well, obviously we don't know, so we're going to fumble, we're going to fail. But we have to do that before we can master it, and that's just kind of the idea. And so Carl Jung talked about how the fool is the precursor to the savior, meaning we cannot be everything we can be without first understanding we will, and must be willing to fail, stumble, and fall along the way. It's part of the journey. And for me, I've always been good enough at most things that it's not a big failure, it's just a slight struggle. So I can, I don't experience a whole lot of failures. And sometimes that can be a bad thing, I think. I do. And then Dr. Jordan Peterson talks about how the fool has to precede the master. You can't teach a closed mind. We have to be willing to be wrong in order to find out what's right. So I really like that idea, knowing that like I'm going to work, and there's some things that I don't have the answer to. Well, I've never done it before. Why do I feel like I need an answer? Just be honest. Let them know what I know, what I don't know. Collaboratively come to a conclusion and move on. Right? I don't have to worry about how I'm perceived or how I perceive myself. So anyway, so that's kind of part one of the failure. We'll wrap that up tomorrow. So anyway, I hope you got something from the reading. Yeah, good stuff, man. And I hope you're having a good weekend, a good 4th of July weekend. And I'll be back tomorrow for another video. So until then, peace out.